With the Advantech subfloor assembly, you can be sure that you're building a reputation on something stronger. And the best builders, well, they may always stand apart, but they never stand alone. So ask yourself, are you bringing your A game?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Before the Build series. Yes, we're talking about details still, and we're moving up that foundation wall. Last time we met, we talked about the basement footing slab interface with the bottom of the foundation wall. Well, today we're moving up that foundation wall and we're talking about the water table. Water table is the area where the foundation meets the first floor frame, meets the first floor exterior wall, and all the fun stuff that happens in there, and where we switch from the concrete basement wall to that wood frame structure above. So a lot of great stuff. We're going to talk about control layers, all the good stuff. Of course, our good friend Big Red is here. So without further ado, let's look at that water table detail. Hey everybody, I'm my good friend Big Red. I got that section put up. Remember last time we talked about the footings? Well, we're moving up the wall, and today we're going to talk about this water table detail. Water table detail, I mean, that's what I call it. I'm sure a lot of people have first floor band joist area, multiple names, but basically it's, you know, where we switch from the foundation wall to our wood frame structure roughly at grade. So that's where we're at. Let's throw that detail up. Register the drawing here. And let's talk water table detail. So, there you go. There's that top of the foundation wall that we spoke of. And this is a pretty typical scenario here, right? We talked about the reinforcing in the footings and such, and in the foundation wall. So there's our two bars that run horizontally through the foundation wall, and then we have this number 4 vertical bar here that and I believe it's on like 32-inch centers. But how do we attach that wood frame to the foundation wall? Well, in this case we did what I call a double mud sill. So we have the lower 2x6, and you can see that has an anchor bolt. It's a 5/8 inch anchor bolt that gets bolted down. That obviously has a washer and such. Those are 32 inches on center, and they're within 12 inches of every corner. And the purpose of the anchor bolt is basically to keep the house from ripping up off of the foundation or sliding across and sliding off the foundation. So that's what keeps the two intact. You can see, to get a little bit more head height, we did a double mud sill there. That gets us 3 inches. And then we have our floor truss system, and in this case here, these I believe were 14-inch floor trusses. They're 24 inches on center, meaning that from this line to that line, right, 24 inches. Our floor sheathing here is a 7/8 inch Advantech. We bumped that up because we bumped that to the 24 inches. So that composite action of floor joist to floor sheathing, a lot of it depends on that spacing. And if we increase that spacing, say from the 16 to the 24 inches, while the code does allow 3/4 of an inch, people like the Tile Association and stuff get really a little bit nerdy on us and want to increase the size of that. So that bumps up from 3/4 to the 7/8, gives us a little stiffer floor. We do have a 3.5 inch flange width, so we get a lot of good composite action in that. These get a bead of adhesive that run down the floor joist before that Advantech gets attached to that. So that's our floor frame, and then of course the wood wall above here, and in this case here, you see that's the bottom plate, and then we have good old friend, the T-stud. Right, somewhere here we are. It's a 2x6 T-stud wood frame, and that's 24 inches on center, so that matches our floor framing. And then we have our zip R9 on the outside of that. We have, that's the sheathing there with the insulation in here. And then we have our rain screen detail, and then of course our exterior siding. We have a screen mesh here down at the bottom with a 2x cleat down there so that we don't get rodents wanting to migrate up, tunnel through our rigid foam and make that a nice home somewhere in here, have a nice burrow in our wall. We don't want any of that. As far as that thermal control, remember we brought that rigid foam up the foundation wall, and then we have our unfaced bat in the wall happening there. Well, to make this transition from here, we have that sprayed with a 4-inch, from the 4 inches, that measurement there of closed cell foam lock 2004G. So has a GWP, global warming potential of 1 or better. And then above grade here, we have Havelock blown wool insulation in our wall, and then mixed with the R9, that gets us to, I think we're at roughly, 31-ish for the wall, but our value doesn't mean as much to me as air tightness, and we performed really, really well on this house, below passive house standards. Moisture control, you can see we have our Sega Myrex vapor retarder that we lined the face of the wall with before we put up our gypsum board. So we took care of our control layers there. It's a great little bulletproof wall that performs very well. You got to remember this house here is in climate zone 4. If you're wondering exactly where that is, that's Columbia, Missouri. And still a heating dominated climate, although it's getting pretty close to tilting that scale. And yeah, 2x6 wall, R9, rain screen, our Boral true exterior siding on the outside, which we're big fans of, painted. We got continuity in our insulation coming down the wall through the band joist, and then that connects to our basement insulation. We talked about the structural connections, so there you have it. Got a great little slideshow coming up, so enjoy the slideshow.